Now this truck you guys definitely haven't seen, I don't think anyways. It's a little bit newer, it's a 2002 or something. We got both of these S10s for $500 I think for both of them. They didn't run, they were both 4-cylinder trucks. This one was a manual. No, this one was an automatic to begin with. The camouflage one with the 5.3 was a manual. Now this one is a manual and that one is automatic, so maybe I should have started with this one. But this one's got some dents in it. Yeah, we got this one to be a 24 hours of lemons truck. And we really don't have, I mean, we're probably a little bit over that $500 budget, but not much. We got some good deals on things. Like I said, the truck, this one was only $100. We stripped it down, you know, scrapped some crap out of it. I kind of like the way that on these newer S10s, the way it's got a magnesium kind of thing there that holds the steering wheel. It's a lot cleaner. We just mounted some Harbor Freight gauges. This one's definitely, you know, as cheap as you can possibly do it because we were going to do the Lemons race. Nick made these mounts. He also made the mounts on the 5.3 S10, so see, very similar design. They work very well. We got this motor out of a junkyard. I think there was like a 75 Chevy truck. It's a 305 after we ran the numbers on it. This motor has been overhauled. I don't know when, but it does have a rebuild tag on it on the bottom of the driver's side. I think it's still a 305. I mean, I haven't really checked, but the numbers say it is. The block is from the 80s. It's got a two-piece rear main seal, but it's got the passenger side dipstick, so kind of early 80s, I guess. The head numbers are, I think, from a 76, so maybe the truck was a 76. But just kind of your standard 305. I gotta get intake filter for it, obviously. We just got it running, so I gotta hook up the PCV and the brake booster there. I think I'm gonna set a tooth back on the distributor because I had to kind of rotate it a bit counterclockwise to get the advance in. And it runs really good, actually. I was really scared about, you know, getting this motor from a junkyard, and the coolant system in the truck was just full of milkshake, but it was from the transmission. I guess the cooler when the radiator burst and just filled the cooling system with transmission fluid, so maybe that's why it was there. But so far it doesn't overheat. There's no thermostat in it, but it does get up the temperature and kind of stay there. Doesn't smoke at all. This exhaust manifold kind of smokes, I think, just from getting oil on it and whatnot, but the exhaust is clean. That starter, I don't know if you can really see it, but maybe. That starter, very small, very lightweight compared to most small block Chevy starters. I got that on eBay. They sell them on Amazon as well. It was $62, came with the bolts and the shims, free shipping. It's basically an LT1 starter, so it fits. If you need a small starter to fit a 153 tooth flywheel, get one that fits like an LT1 engine from, say, a 95 Roadmaster, Caprice or something, Camaro, whatever. It bolts right on, it works great. It's very small. I don't think this engine has a whole lot of compression. I mean, it fires right up and runs good, but you can spin it by hand pretty easy, and it just, that starter, just, I've never seen an engine crank so fast. Got that Optima battery for $5. Just got a little inline fuel filter. The mechanical pump seems to be bad. I think the diaphragm in it must be bad because it only sporadically kind of pushes some fuel up here. If you tap the electric fuel pump in the truck, you know, the original one for the fuel injection, it'll fill this fuel filter, but even before it builds any pressure, there's some fuel kind of seeping around the where this thing's sandwiched together. So I'd say that the fuel pump's bad, but I'm not even sure I can change it because it's so dang tight to that frame rail. It's just kind of the nature of it. I might just get a fuel pressure regulator, stick it on the frame where the return line is, and then just have it returning fuel and just use the truck's electric fuel pump as it's already there. Lines are already there, just need a pressure regulator. Got to clean up the wiring. We just got this running today. Haven't really worked on it much, but it runs. That's one of those $30 eBay distributors. It works good. I mean, no complaints. Steering's got plenty of room. We got to figure out how to do something with the exhaust manifolds. These manifolds clear the steering, but now that one's kind of dumps, and you can't see it, but it kind of dumps right down between the control arm and the ground. We also have some hydraulic clutch stuff we built going on down there, so I don't know, we'd be okay if we could just run them through the inner fender and then down kind of the outside of the truck, you know, underneath, outside the frame rail, but underneath the cab. So I don't know if I can braze to that cast iron or not. I've never tried it. I was able to weld to those LS style manifolds, whatever you want to call it, the 5.3, but I hear that's more typical since those are more of a steel, better casting than these older ones. But I might try brazing it. I ain't got much to lose. We got this racing seat in here, one of those cheaper ones, but it was free, so you know, there's that. Probably got to put the toggle switches down here because you can't, if you were harnessed, then you can't reach those. And then we're just gonna have, that's the shifter right there, so it's gonna be like it's a 3-speed Saginaw. So we are just gonna put like a circle track kind of shifter in it where you have 2 levers and you'll just have you know, reverse and whichever way, neutral first, and then put it back to neutral, second, neutral, third. Truck's not really meant for any kind of speed shifting, I guess, so just trying to do it cheap, dirty, have fun with it. Let's see if it'll start. It's in gear, but the clutch works good, so we've kind of made a hydraulic clutch of our own design here. Got fans, there's ignition there, and then start. Yeah, it fires right up, so pretty happy about it. These gauges suck, but seem to work. Just oil pressure gauge has a very slow response, and I think the engine takes a while to build oil pressure. I mean, that gauge just, I don't know, takes a long time to build up oil pressure, and then like you shut the engine off, it comes down very slowly, but the oil moves in the line quickly. So I think it's almost like that gauge has something blocking it, but it does build pressure. It'll go up to idling at 40 psi, which is pretty good. I think I saw it go up to 60. It's kind of revved up a little more. So I mean, the motor seems pretty healthy. Now we haven't, you know, made sure there's no head gasket issues, I guess, but it's not overheating. Seems pretty good. This fan is out of a Taurus, like a early 90s, late 80s Ford Taurus, and it's impressive. I mean, it moves some air. So we still got work to do on it for sure, but I think what we may actually end up doing with this truck is putting a emergency brake in it, whatever you want to call it, a hydraulic handbrake, and taking it to some drift events because we don't really care if we beat it up. It has no lights, no title. I mean, so we want to do 24 hours of lemons with it, but it's just not ready yet. It takes a lot of safety equipment now. I think you have to have a fire suppression system, which is I mean, not a bad idea to have, but it's just expensive, you know, for somebody Just trying to have some fun with it. But we'll, put a fire extinguisher in it, do some drift events, and have some fun with it, hopefully.